Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto absorbs Kaguya, time travel, part 3. Subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's start the story. There was suddenly an unexpected addition to their date. A giggle of girls had arrived and was in the process of confessing their love to him and making the previously intimate scene into a frantic group hug with the unsavory addition of flying clothes. The scene was more like a harem mosh pit than a date now. Hinata Naruto ventured, not wanting to hurt the feelings of any girl. "You are my only girlfriend. You have the right to stop this." Seeing his girlfriend not respond immediately, he started pleading, "You can send them away. No response please." Hinata thought for a second more, then pulled him into a kiss as her other hand reached down lower to rest on his heart. When they pulled apart, she whispered, "But I want everyone to know how great you are. And how could I send them away when they only want the one who's best?" She then waved her sister over and started organizing the girls into an orderly line from her spot at Naruto's side as Hanabi leaned forward for a kiss. When Naruto woke up, he found himself in the midst of a pile of tailed beasts. This much was expected from what he could remember from last night. What was unexpected was that he was not in his mindscape but rather lying in the training field. This thought process was derailed when he became aware that Matatabi was still awake, rubbing his chest and sitting on his groin. Being in the body of a 3-year-old, this was not as appreciated as in his mindscape. "Matatabi, 3 questions. Could you please get off of me? What did we do last night? Why are you out of the seal? Don't you remember? After all, it felt so good. We got to enjoy our present and you were so generous that you let us make shadow clones to get out of the seal to stretch." She stretched her back, offering her chest to the pinned boy. "I'm afraid I am a bit young for that and need to get back to training, thank you." With his piece said, the boy used substitution to switch with a clone and ran far away, blushing and trying to convince himself that he was not a pervert. 2 hours later. "I think I lost her. I'm safe for now. But I need to plan. When do I need to be ready to save Hinata from her kidnapper?" Niji wasn't exactly clear on the day of the kidnapping, only that it was after she was 3. "I should check my internal calendar. 3 years yet. Why is everything off by 3 years? I think Yami and Megane are messing with me. They want me to be bored to death. I have 3 years of training then, I guess." Times played. 10 achievement unlocked. Playtime. Acquired. Sister Naruto. "I can get a sister, I can have a real family. Well, now I can't hate them, these achievements are awesome, believe it. If they can allow me to have a family, I wonder what else they can unlock. I have to get them all, believe it." 3 years later, day before kidnapping. It was the day before the big event and Naruto was in the park. He remembered that he had met Hinata here once before in passing before the day that he saved her from bullies. He was hoping to have a better first meeting before bravely rescuing her. The park had become the most popular gathering place for clan children once all the clans learned that their favorite orphan had been ejected from the orphanage and was staying in the park. Naruto had even been able to finally meet the clan heirs that would be in his class. Even the young Yakumo of the Kurama clan was present, having not yet begun her training with Kurenai. All of the girls were dressed in clothes far too nice to normally wear to the park, but for impressing the son of a cage who contains the most powerful tailed beast and had more chakra than a chunin at 3 years old, nothing is too expensive. He was even able to meet up with the orphans Tenten and Rock Lee, since the orphan children used the park often. Strangely, the Hokage was the only one who didn't know that his favorite orphan was living in the park, or else he would have already gotten the child into an apartment. However, for Naruto it wasn't that bad. He found that he was able to sleep almost anywhere instantly and didn't even need to sleep at all if he didn't feel like it. His food wasn't even a concern, as it was either supplied by friendly ninjas or caught himself. He even got an achievement for hunting and trapping his meals. It unlocked a bow that became a nice secondary weapon. And then there was another achievement for going 3 days without sleep that gave him a cool mask that he could use on others so they wouldn't fall asleep. There were many more, but they are largely irrelevant, such as the one that unlocked a straw hat for eating a strange fruit that had swirl patterns. Putting achievements aside, the only future ninjas of the Leaf 12 that didn't meet in the park regularly were Sasuke, Hinata, and Niji, and Sai. Sasuke wasn't sent because the Uchiha still managed to get away with basically kidnapping the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki to try to impress the boy, and Sai was presumably being brainwashed by Danzo at this time. The Hyugas, however, were a matter of their clan's pride. It would seem out of place for the royal Hyuga clan to send their children to the same park as the lesser families. Granted, they would have lowered themselves for the sake of supporting their favorite blonde had the Hokage not been keeping an eye on all of the clans for overt favoritism. The day would be the first time Hinata would be brought to the park by her mother in an attempt to cure her shyness. In the first world it didn't work, but this time around, a change would most certainly happen. When the little blonde boy saw a woman who looked like an older Hinata with a young Hinata peeking out from behind her leg, he went up to introduce himself in his traditional energetic fashion. "Hiya. I'm Naruto. Do you want to be my friend?" For Hinata, this was too good. This boy of her dreams, literally, not only existed but also showed some interest in her. Her vision started to go hazy. She stumbled forwards trying to face the young god, but stumbled. Her god caught her, and she heard her indistinctly whisper something that could have been anything from yes, yes, yes to I love you or even just catch me. He never did find out what she said since she fainted then, and would always just turn red and stutter whenever he brought it up later. Meanwhile her mother just watched the couple, musing about their future and hoping that her daughters would still be able to have a happy ending without her. The next day dawned far too bright and cheery for the business that would happen that night. A holiday was declared in the Leaf Village for the signing of the peace treaty with the Cloud Village. Stores were closed and stalls were open to sell food and souvenirs to the visitors and excited children. The Leaf Village thought it could finally have peace. However, the Cloud Ninja had a plan to take a price far more than the one agreed for peace. It was their plan to steal the young heiress of the Hyuga clan so they could learn the secrets of the Byakugan and have complete domination over all of the elemental nations. If their main plan failed, they still had plan B to receive the dead body of a by crooked diplomacy. Understandably, Naruto had a plan to stop both of these. Well, half a plan. More of a lot of ideas that he thought might work. But anyway, it's the thought that counts. Aim saved. Mission start. Clouds that bring storms. Objectives are 1. Prevent Hiashi from killing the ambassador. 2. Defeat the ambassador yourself. 3. Prevent Cloud's political plan B, optional. 4. Save Hinata. Mission start. Naruto stood on the roof of a building near the Hyuga compound walls, but out of the immediate range of most of the Hyuga's Byakugan. He had his eyes peeled and bowed at the ready. This first try was just going to be a primarily observation run. He would see the routes that the ambassador took and his speed and use those to figure out a better strategy. After an hour of waiting he began to have doubts. Shouldn't there have been an alarm raised? I know I saw the cloud guy enter the compound. Why hasn't he exited yet? Mission failed. What? He didn't escape. I need a closer look. When he got close enough to see into the compound he had to hit himself for being such a fool. Of course. I didn't change anything significantly, so Hiashi still just killed the guy. I need to change that. And thus he plopped himself down to meditate the 5 minutes needed to load. Aim loaded. Okay, I need to keep Hiashi from waking up and killing the ambassador. I should probably get him drunk. That always kept Pervy Sage down on our training trip. But to do that I need to sneak in and drug his drink. This is the perfect time to use that music I got from killing those mutant rats. What were they called? Skiers? Skeevers? Something like that. Play Kaguya like to sneak, Skyrim, miracle of sound. The blonde sage covertly scaled the walls of the Hyuga compound. He did a quick check for patrols before soundlessly dropping to the ground. He crept along through the shadows until he came to an open training area. He looked left and right for guards, then began his dash to the other side. He made it halfway across without being detected. Now 3/4. Just a few steps away from the concealing shadows of the next building a whistle sounded and the sneaking blonde put his hands up as he heard a Hyuga branch member shout out intruder. Halt. Naruto found himself immobilized by the game physics as he was surrounded by guards and carried to an empty cellar room. Stay there and keep quiet. You will be let out in the morning. Until then, think about what you've done. Naruto briefly considered trying to break out, then swiftly found that impossible because of the world's rules. Aim loaded. This time Naruto made certain to send clones to check around every corner before dashing across the training ground. He was able to covertly reach the main branch building. He slipped inside without alerting any guards. However, once he closed the door, the whistle sounded and he was carried off by a guard that just turned the corner at the worst possible time. Aim loaded. This time Naruto tried to wait for the branch member to pass before entering the door. Just as he was about to open the door the alert whistle sounded. Aim loaded. Naruto was at the door to his target when he was detected by a guard that opened the door. Aim loaded. Naruto barely entered the compound when he was spotted by one of the guards by Byakugan. Aim loaded. Before Naruto even dropped down from the walls the whistle sounded. What? There's not even anyone to see me. Meow. The cat. I was detected by a damned cat. That doesn't even make sense. I give up. I'm just going to use transformation. Aim loaded. The only mildly irate god approached the gate of the Hyuga compound, looking for all purposes like a nondescript delivery boy. He approached the gates and hailed the senior of the 2 gate guards. I have the last delivery of sake for Hiashi. Where is the storeroom? We didn't receive any information about more sake. This is the Hyuga compound, right? How did you not get any notice about this? We aren't going to just let you in because you have sake. Come back with the contract and then we'll let you in. Dang, I thought that offering booze would definitely get me in. It always worked for Pervy Sage. Maybe I should try offering women. Pervy Sage always fell for that. Aim loaded. The quite impatient god walked up to the gates of the Hyuga compound, looking like a generic bar owner wearing a gaudy purple outfit and a purple hat with a large feather in it, followed by shadow clones using transformation to look like the women that Pervy Sage had sent to him for his comfort. Those poor women always had such tragic histories, but they seemed to do much better after a nice talk. He came up to the gate and hailed the younger of the two guards. "Hey dog. I heard there was a party going down at this swanky crib. I thought you might need some entertainment." The senior guard smacked the tempted younger one and gave an inarguable no. Not even women will let me in without questions. Maybe I should try to look like one of them. Aim loaded. The very annoyed god approached the gates of the Hyuga compound, looking for all purposes like a completely normal branch house Hyuga. He approached the gates and hailed the two gate guards. "Evening Sam. Evening Ralph. Achievement unlocked. Wiley. Acme delivery unlocked. Who are you?" "I'm Mumble Hyuga. I just got back from a long mission." The completely average-looking Hyuga lifted his headband to show off his sealed forehead. "I have a seal on my forehead, that should be enough proof." "Just because you have a seal on your head doesn't mean you are a Hyuga. Let me take a look at you," the veins around his eyes bulging. "You're using transformation. Nice try." The guard gave the fake face a strong punch to dispel it, revealing the battered boy. "What does it take to get past you guys? I just want to get in and drug Hiashi so he can't kill the Cloud Ambassador. Why is this so difficult? You are trying to sneak into a compound full of people with 360-degree X-ray vision. What did you expect? To casually sneak through our home like we were sleeping civilians? I was expecting less trouble than breaking into the Hokage's tower, that's for sure. Maybe if you tried telling the truth before trying to lie to us we might have let you in." "Really? Well then, take me to prison." Aim loaded. The finally hopeful god approached the gates of the Hyuga compound, looking exactly like himself. He walked right up to the gate guards and declared, "I'm here to get Hiashi drunk so he doesn't kill the Cloud Ambassador and cause an international incident. Could you let me in?" The gate guards conferred with each other. "It's that kid, the one the orphan groups always have stories about. Hiashi will want to hear this." "But what do you think he means by getting Hiashi drunk?" The senior guard did a quick check with his Byakugan. "He's definitely the right kid. No one else has that bright color of chakra and the seal with the 9 colors of chakra. He probably doesn't really know what he's saying. Go get the clan head." Once the younger guard left, the older guard gave his best impression of the comforting but stern old man look that the Hokage used with Genin. It lost its comfort and ended up looking stern. "Lord Hyuga will be here soon. When he arrives, show him the proper respect due his title and tell him the reason you're here." When Hiashi and his wife Asano arrived at the gate, the blonde boy in question was doing his best to look adorable. Hiashi began the interrogation. "Why are you here?" "I'm here to try to get you drunk so you don't kill the Cloud Ambassador when he tries to kidnap Hinata tonight." Hiashi raged. "You mean to tell me that the Cloud Ambassador plans to kidnap my daughter? And you want me to not kill him? Guards, give the boy a place at the branch house table and keep an eye on him. I have a villain to kill." Naruto looked down and pretended to almost cry, trying to appeal to pity. "But that will cause an international incident and end up having to sacrifice your life as payment." When he looked up with shiny puppy dog eyes, Hiashi had already left. His face immediately switched back to irate. "Myself, damn it. I tell him not to do it and he does it sooner. Being cute didn't even help. So much for honesty being the best policy. I guess it's time to lie." Aim loaded. The no longer hopeful god approached the gates of the Hyuga compound, looking exactly like himself. He walked up to the gate and hailed the guards cutely. "Does the pretty girl with the pale eyes live here? She fainted when I met her at the park, is she okay?" The gate guards conferred with each other. "It's that kid, the one the orphan groups always have stories about. Hiashi will want to hear this." "But who do you think he means by pretty girl?" The senior guard did a quick check with his Byakugan. "He's definitely the right kid. No one else has that bright color of chakra and the seal with the 9 colors of chakra. He probably doesn't really know who he's talking about. Go get the clan head." Once the younger guard left, the older guard gave his best impression of the comforting but stern old man look that the Hokage used with Genin. It lost its comfort and ended up looking stern. "Lord Hyuga will be here soon. When he arrives, show him the proper respect due his title and tell him the reason you're here." When Hiashi and his wife Asano arrived at the gate, the blonde boy in question was doing his best to look adorable. Hiashi began the interrogation. "Why are you here?" I just wanted to check up on the pretty girl I met at the park. She passed out and was all red and I wanted to make sure she was okay. Before Hiashi had the chance to respond, his wife gave him a fierce glare, then turned to her future son-in-law. Hinata is fine, but she would like to see you again. Since you were such a gentleman and came to check on her, why don't you have a nice conversation with her? She forcefully took the boy's hand and almost dragged him to her daughter's chamber. Once Naruto was with Hinata in her room, Hisana closed and locked the door, giggling and thinking about the conversation she had with her daughter about relationships. Flashback. Previous night. Mommy? Hinata ventured, how do you know you love someone? Oh. My little girl is growing up. Who's the lucky boy? Kushina's son, probably. I've never seen her faint over a boy before. They make such a cute couple. It's what Kushina would want too. Well honey, you feel happy whenever you're with that boy. And whenever you think of that boy you feel a heat in your chest. And dear, if you think you might love that boy in the park, I would definitely approve. He's a good boy and very nice and strong. Hinata blushed and squeaked, hiding her face in her bedclothes. Mommy? Can we go to the park again? Want to know more about that boy? Hisana smiled internally. I can't tell you directly because the Hokage won't let anyone treat him special because he is too special and so many parents wanted their daughters to marry him. But of course you can go see him again. At night Hinata realized that she had competition for her man and made huge improvements in her gentle fist form at practice the next day. Hyuga Compound. Night of Cloud Treaty. After dinner. During dinner Naruto had sat next to the blushing Hinata, alternating between flirting to make her faint and using his chakra to rouse her. He did have to wonder why his chakra worked to wake her from fainting, but it did and she seemed to like it and even be the stronger for it, so he wouldn't complain. He did have to wonder why the smell that Hinata always developed around him was at least 5 times stronger than he remembered and grew stronger each time he woke her, but he discarded it as Megami was messing with him. But the really important part of the meal was that he was able to get Hiashi drunk enough to not be able to kill the Cloud Ambassador. Step 1 complete. Now to defeat the Ambassador himself. Objective 1 complete. Aim saved. Amic. The power that's inside. Naruto had just entered a glitch zone and it was one of the more strange glitch zones he had entered. He was in a largely monochromatic forest filled with completely stationary people that never blinked. There were strange animals crawling all around in the tall grass that dominated the floor of the forest. As soon as he stepped into the line of sight of the closest person, the other boy started moving to meet the immobilized blonde. I like shorts. They're comfy and easy to wear. The world started to rapidly flash and swipe to black before suddenly the bug catcher flew across from Naruto and threw a ball that summoned a caterpillar. I missed the toads. They were great summons. I guess I'll have to improvise. 9 tails, I choose you. Kurama appeared in her full-tailed beast glory, standing tall as a mountain and fangs bared. 9 tails, use the tailed beast ball. The opposing colored chakra was gathered and the death beam was shot at the tiny worm. When the dust cleared there was no trace of the worm or the bug catcher or a large swath of forest behind. Looks like I defeated the necessary enemy. What did I get? Item get. Master Ball. Alright, what can this do? Capture without fail any creature. No matter how powerful. I know just what I'm going to do with this. At night Naruto used the chakra of the tailed beasts to summon Kaguya Otsutsuki. At last, I am free. Now to place the entire world into the infinite Tsukiyomi. The wild Kaguya Otsutsuki appeared. What? Naruto used Master Ball. Not again. The ball rocked once, twice, 3 times, before clicking. Kaguya Otsutsuki was caught. Naruto Uzumaki, god of protection and guardian against the void, stood in awe at the sheer bug-induced stupidity of the Cloud Ambassador. Currently the artificial stupidity construct was stuck running against a slightly raised step. Apparently the step was too high to walk up to and too low to justify jumping up to, so the diplomat was stuck running against a false obstacle. It was actually quite amusing and could be useful if he could reproduce it reliably. As it was, he only found this by accident when trying to redirect the diplomat. I could kill him here or fix the bug and get divinity. Normally I would just kill him, but there's an achievement for fixing a bug. So, fixing the bug is. The god went to work setting up the debug ceiling array. Once the array was finished, chakra was fed in and a screen of options appeared. A few toggles later and the diplomat was free and Naruto had gotten his achievement. Debugger, it unlocked a set of sunglasses that made everything green and silhouettes made of 1s and 0s. How is anyone supposed to see with these? At least they make good night vision glasses. And there are later achievements for fixing more bugs, so it was worth it. Objective 2 complete. Really? I was only trying to contain him. How did he die? When our hero arrived at the place where the mission indicator pointed, he found the ambassador floating in the hot spring. Apparently he tried to hide under the water because the light was lowest there and didn't know enough to breathe. Mission failed. Unfortunately Hinata was with him and couldn't breathe underwater either. Aim loaded. This time the Jinchuriki of all tailed beasts decided to try a more direct route. After giving promises of more playtime with each of them and massages in addition, he secured all of their cooperation to make the all-tails chakra cloak. He tailed the ambassador until just before he rejoined the Cloud Ninja caravan. Seeing where the Cloud Ninja was going, Naruto took advantage of the moment of distraction provided when Hinata started to struggle to fire up the all-tails chakra cloak and charge the man. Before the man even knew what hit him, his spine had been broken non-fatally and Hinata had been saved. Unfortunately, doing so nearly killed Naruto. His health was at 40 points and dropping. A level up would heal him, but he was 3 points short. Getting a kiss from Hinata would give him far more than enough experience, leveling him and healing him, as well as giving him an achievement. Obviously the second was more important since achievements persisted through loads. There was a certain romance to it as well, but achievements. Romance is for the definitely final try at something. Could you kiss me better, my princess? And it was looking like it would be the final attempt if Hinata gave him that kiss. It wasn't that he didn't care, it was just that Hinata would always start acting weird whenever he was romantic. After he woke up she would always try to convince him to go somewhere isolated and cuddle. He would gladly do so if it weren't for a strange glint in her eyes whenever she said cuddle. So in this situation he would just try again in a less suicidal way and chalk up reawakening Hinata for a kiss and cuddling as a plan B. Aim loaded. There was an achievement that gave Naruto an idea. To get it he had to defeat a mini-boss or boss with only exploding substitution logs. He planned to take Hinata's place, then substitute with said exploding log and from there play it by ear. Before the Cloud Ambassador arrived, Naruto was sucked into Hinata's room. He didn't even need to do anything to make Hinata faint. Apparently just his appearance in her room past curfew was enough to make her faint. I wonder what she's thinking about. Anyway, I need to get her to a safe place. The boy made a shadow clone to take his girlfriend to a safe place. That clone would have a very interesting day. The boyfriend used transformation on himself to deceive the kidnapper, then settled down to wait. When the Cloud Ambassador arrived a screen popped up. Competitive check, transformation versus detection. Transformation skill. 463. Oppose detection 500. Range of success, 68 to 100. Roll of destiny. D100. The numbers switch, the numbers change, the numbers roll. What will come out, nobody knows. Result. 58, failure. Well that doesn't seem good. The Cloud Ambassador pulled out a knife to slit the throat of the decoy. He planned to get rid of the false one, then move on to find the real Hyuga heiress. However things got crazy fast once he tried to kill the fake. After the second it normally took for a transformation to disperse had passed, he became aware that he had in fact not even killed their decoy, but had become a victim of a well-executed substitution. And the log was set to explode. Not good. Naruto stood on the roof of the adjacent building waiting to see the fireworks. He was not disappointed when he saw the explosion in Hinata's room. He gave a short thought to where his clone had taken his girlfriend to keep her safe. But the clone thought that hiding in the attic of the room would be the safest since the ambassador would take the original and the action would be far away from there. Unfortunately no plan survives execution. There was only a moment of warning before the paper bomb went off in the room below. The clone had to dash off using a body flicker and himself eventually substituting with one of the original stock of exploding logs to escape. But the Cloud Ambassador? That did not go as planned. Obviously they had a spy in their midst and the Leaf Village knew that there was a plan to kidnap the Hyuga heiress and had this all prepared. Or was this all a setup from the wreckage? Was he supposed to die there? No, he had been assigned to kidnap the Hyuga heiress and that is what he planned to do until those tree huggers finished him off. He set off to find either whoever the imposter was and kill him or better yet, find the Hyuga heiress and kidnap her. 20 minutes later. With the clone. The clone crouched down to hide behind a scenic rock in one of the Hyuga's gardens. His charge had briefly woken multiple times, but had quickly fainted at the sight of being carried by her boyfriend. The original had lost track of the Cloud Ambassador and was working on organizing a search party of clones to find the target without causing mass panic. Meanwhile, said target had found the clone carrying Hinata and was in the process of hunting them down. There was neither time nor chakra to make a clone to carry the message to the original. The clone was working his way to the original as quickly, as stealthily possible. Apparently all those guards that thwarted those break-in attempts now didn't even exist. Suddenly the Cloud Ambassador appeared in front of them, throwing a kunai. The escape was another exploding log substitution. That brought him just close enough to get the attention of the original with a shout. Unfortunately, the shout also attracted the Cloud Diplomat, and the clone didn't have enough chakra for another substitution. Before the attack landed, another shadow clone took the hit. Before the villain had a chance to react, all of the shadow clones swarmed him. The Cloud Diplomat started the hand signs for lightning style. Lightning cage, an area of effect lightning. When he released the lightning hit the shadow clones, they were enveloped in clouds of smoke that faded to reveal logs with lit paper bombs. The original appeared and used substitution to save the clone and Hinata. The log left behind was more paper bomb than wood. The Cloud Diplomat's last thoughts before the bombs went off was, wow, this kid has way too much time on his hands if he prepared all of these logs. Achievement unlocked. Psyche, boom. Exploding clones unlocked. Well, this was a productive day. Naruto mused as he gazed at the cratered Hyuga compound. I got an achievement, took down a kidnapper, saved my girlfriend, and gained the respect of the Hyuga clan. Hyuga respect -30 -. But whatever for. The crowd of angry Hyuga that should have been present to prevent the kidnapping now appeared to condemn Naruto for the collateral damage. To be fair, there was quite a large amount of collateral damage. Most of the buildings in the compound were damaged significantly, with a few completely leveled. No one was hurt somehow, but they were all angry enough to lock our hero in their miraculously undamaged prison cellar. Aim loaded. This time, after receiving the guard clone's memories, Naruto opted to take care of Hinata himself and leave an exploding clone to be the decoy. When the Cloud Ambassador entered the room, the same screen popped up. Competitive check, transformation versus detection. Transformation skill. 513. Opposed detection 500. Range of success, 43 to 100. Roll of destiny. D100. Result. 71, success. The Cloud Ambassador took the disguised exploding shadow clone and set off to meet up with the rest of the Cloud diplomatic caravan. When the head ambassador was in full sight of all the men, the clone released its transformation and, deciding to go out in style, channeled the Mad Bomber of Stone and cackled art as an explosion, believe it. He then detonated himself, removing the kidnapper's right side. Not the best option, but effective. And fun. Who doesn't like explosions? Naruto was meditating through the memories of his clones on the floor of his assigned room in the Hyuga main mansion, with Hinata on his lap. It was probably for the best, though. If he did one of his fancy plans that made it obvious he was the one that stopped the kidnapper, he would have been far too famous far too quickly, and there would be no way that Hiruzen would deny the Leaf's involvement. Still, it somewhat irked him that no one in the Leaf would know that he was the one who saves Hinata from her kidnapper, or that Hinata was kidnapped at all. The Ashi burst through the door shouting with only a minimal slur, quite impressive given the amount of alcohol he unwittingly consumed. Naruto. Hinata has never minded, there she is. Hiashi almost closed the door when he stopped and thought for a second. Then he opened the door again. Naruto. Why is my daughter passed out on your lap in your room? Well, I went to her room to protect her from the Cloud diplomat who wanted to kidnap her. Then when she saw me in her room past curfew, she fainted. I decided to bring her here to guard her and left a shadow clone to take care of the kidnapper. Hiashi's eyes darkened. So those Cloud heads really were up to something. If you'll excuse me, I have a kidnapper to kill. Don't bother. I left an exploding shadow clone. He is currently crippled and near death. Hiashi paused. Well, I guess it would be best to check on our guests then. After all, we did just sign a treaty of peace with them. Oh, and Naruto, congratulations on your engagement to my oldest daughter. As you slept together, in a manner of speaking, it would only be traditional for you to be married. Not to mention, if I didn't get the two of them engaged, then Hisano would never let me rest in peace. Objective 2 complete. Objective 4 complete. 1 week later. The Cloud diplomatic party to the Leaf returned with utmost haste as soon as they stabilized their head ninja. The third Raikage already had 2 letters ready to be sent. The first letter, more likely to be used, was a demand for the dead body of the one who killed their ninja, in accordance with a just signed treaty. The second, less likely, was for the execution of his head ninja and to prepare the young Hyuga to be bred. However, he had not prepared for the situation that stood in front of him. You're telling me you failed because the one you picked up was actually a disguised exploding clone? And this clone reverted to a blue-eyed blonde before exploding? The fourth Hokage must have had a son, and now it's too late to outright kidnap or kill him if he's able to deceive and almost kill my men like this. I guess I need to make peace. I know just the gift to give. Leaf Village. Hokage office. Sarutobi Hiruzen rubbed his temples below his Hokage hat, trying to reduce the oncoming migraine. It appears that the third Raikage had spontaneously decided to give a gift to the young Namikaze staying with the Hyuga clan. There were multiple things wrong with this. 1. The third Raikage did not just give out gifts randomly. 2. Someone outside of the leaf had figured out that Naruto existed, if not by name, then by description. 3. The gift was a girl, a Jinchuriki like Naruto, but of the two-tailed cat. 4. Naruto was with the Hyuga clan. When did this happen? How did this happen? Why hadn't anyone ever informed him? He decided to have a nice long conversation with Naruto. Objective 3 complete. Mission. Clouds that bring storms, complete. Rewards, Hyuga compound open. Hyuga house obtained. Leaf clans rep plus 1500. Leaf civilian rep plus 1000. Cloud rep minus 75. Hyugas are now available for training. Title. Friend of Hyuga. Costume. Hyuga robe. New song. Song of Storms. Marriage contract. Hinata H. Ryo plus 50,000, X plus 350,000. Level up. Level 35. Title. Savior of the World. Hyuga compound. The third Hokage walked into the Hyuga compound in full regalia with Naruto's new playmate. He shuddered at the exact wording of the gift. Who gives out a preteen girl as a slave to an even younger boy with the encouragement of pregnancy? When Hiruzen found Naruto, he was surprised to find that the boy was training with his Ashi. There were just shy of 100 copies of the blonde doing various chakra control exercises. When did he even unlock his chakra? How much did I miss? Naruto. I have someone you need to meet. He pushed forward a 10-year-old girl named Yujito. She was sent specifically to you from the Raikage to keep you company. How has your training been going? Grandpa. I haven't seen you since before the orphanage kicked me out. Hiruzen was stung to the heart but decided to try to make it up to the boy. Is there anything I can do for you, my boy? Give me my father's seals and everything from my mother's clan. How do you actually? Just show me how well you do against a Jonin later. For now, get Yujito settled and I'll get everything ready for your entrance to the academy at age 9. Thanks Grandpa. Naruto's house. Naruto had just finished showing Yujito RL. 2126, good master around his cozy one-bedroom house. I'm sorry you don't have a room to yourself, I wasn't expecting to have to house someone else. I'll take the couch, you can sleep on the bed. She grabbed his arm. I don't mind sharing the bed, master. For some reason she always called him master and no matter what he couldn't make her stop. You do know I'm engaged, right? I'm certain Lady Hinata wouldn't mind me keeping you warm at night. Just sleep on the bed, I'm going to the couch. That night Naruto woke up to the weight and heat of Yujito on his chest. Naruto sighed and moved both of them to the bed. Achievement unlocked. Slave Master 1. Enslave option is now available. Leaf Village. Kurama clan compound, 2 years later. Ikumo was having a dream or perhaps seeing a memory in her sleep. She was a level shinobi of her great home, the Leaf Village. She was painting a picture of her love as he ought to be at his best. She was in the front center sitting at the feet of her love with his hands on her shoulders. His first and third wives were on his immediate right and left. The other women of his harem were spread out along the wings. She leaned back into her husband's chest as she idly squeezed out more white paint to finish the picture. Ikumo RL. 7326, Dream Boy woke up to the sight of Naruto sitting in front of her after injecting her with his chakra. Naruto had come to her last year, offering something that might help strengthen her frail body. Naruto had a hunch that his chakra could strengthen the bodies of women he pushed it into, based off of experiments with Hinata and Yujito. It seemed to work, although there did seem to be the side effect of that strange smell gathering and growing stronger every time he used his chakra. Also, it seemed that too much of his chakra was able to knock a girl out, although both Yujito and Yakumo said it felt absolutely divine. What Naruto wanted was to strengthen Yakumo's body so that she wouldn't be taken over by her id and would be able to become a ninja just like she wanted. Then later, when they were closer, he would completely remove the monster in her head. You're doing great, Yakumo. You'll definitely be able to join the academy next year at this rate. She jumped up to give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Thank you so much. I love you. Laughing at the supposed joke, Naruto responded, oh, you're going to get my fiancé mad at me. She forced her blush down and cursed his denseness for thinking that her confession of love every session was a joke. She was actually good friends with Hinata. Yakumo was the first woman to be really stuck out completely from a romantic relationship with Naruto. It just wasn't fair that Hinata gets to keep a guy like that all to herself just because she was the first one to need rescuing. Hinata herself would be open to sharing if Naruto wasn't so much against it. The poor girl would only get more requests to share once Naruto was in the eye of the girls in the academy. She honestly didn't know whether she wanted the poor girl to cave or not. While the Kurama heir would certainly like to get in on a Naruto harem, she would hate to see what would need to happen for the girl to go against the unspoken wishes of her love and declare a full harem. She would have to wait and see. Mission complete. Jinjutsu Princess, training with Kurenai unlocked. 9 years Anta, Academy, first day. Naruto and his fiancée were walking to their first day at the Ninja Academy. Naruto was wearing a smaller version of his sage cloak, courtesy of his previous life. Hinata was walking slightly behind and to the right side, wearing her usual coat with the addition of an Uzumaki swirl embroidered over her heart, and Yujito was walking behind and to the left, wearing an orange jacket of her master with the back removed to show off the Uzumaki clan symbol tattooed on her back. The boys were sizing up their potential competition, and the girls were grouping into cliques to gossip about whatever they had heard from older sisters or mothers. However, there was one who wasn't in the group. Satsuki Uchiha RL. 9001, best and the only daughter and second child to the Uchiha clan head and younger sister of the famous prodigy Itachi Uchiha, was scheming how to defeat a rival. That little Hyuga hussy has no claim on him. My father had him chosen for me from the first time he saw the boy. He had been mine 6 years before that girl even laid eyes on him. Those blind eyes had no right to take advantage of his heroic nature to steal him away from the better of us. Hinata felt the unconscious, but not unwanted, killing intent from Satsuki's thoughts, and her stutter increased until Naruto put his hand on her shoulder. Hinata's eyes seemed to harden, and her stutter almost disappeared. Look at the little stuttering wonder. She would be nothing without Naruto's help. Satsuki's killing intent disappeared as her thoughts turned from the object of her aggression to the object of her affection. Really, Naruto's just too nice for his own good, just look at how he treats his slave, letting her act like she was a lover rather than a slave. And rather than choosing a strong girl like he should have, he accepted the weak girl forced on him and made her stronger. I wonder how strong a real kunoichi could become under his guidance. The school day began with a speech from the Hokage. Boys and girls of the Leaf Village, you are here today to take the first step on your path to become ninjas. Now, being a ninja of the Leaf Village is more than learning the lessons and being able to beat the other students in spars. Being a ninja of the Leaf Village is more than just learning cool skills and abilities. Rather, it is about the will of fire. The will of fire is everything. Very soon the student started to zone out. Shikamaru gave a sigh and went to sleep. Choji never even stopped eating for the speech. Shino was occupying himself with the ants crawling beneath their seats. Kiba started playing with Akamaru. Sakura was keeping her head down, literally. Satsuki resumed her glaring at Hinata. Yakumo was trying to figure out how to draw Naruto, understanding that she really loved him. Vegito was thinking about what to make for dinner for her master. She was thinking about fish, like most other days. Hinata was squirming in her seat, alternating between dealing with the jealous stares pointed her way and focusing on not fainting, while her fiancé had his arm around her and his head on her shoulder and sneaking kisses at her neck, and never mind, she fainted. Naruto was seeing the limit on how far he could go before his fiancée fainted, a favorite pastime of his, but when she fainted, he decided to spare the over-affectionate Hinata that always resulted after waking her with his chakra. Although, she normally doesn't faint until I start a shirtless back massage. Must be the audience. He turned his thoughts to Sai and the other RIT members. Meanwhile, the Hokage himself was spacing out thinking about his favorite orphan. Naruto has grown so much over these years. He tricked and defeated him at 6, I can't wait to see how he does today. Will of fire. Will of fire. Kakashi Haddock was anxious to be reacquainted with his little brother. He was the one that the Hokage had summoned to be the one to give Naruto his examination. Like father, like son. Minato always was a hard-working prodigy. It will be an honor to teach you everything I know, Naruto. And in summary, the will of fire. Academy training field. All of the first-year students were lined up at the training field. Their teacher announced, welcome to your first day at the Ninja Academy. I'm your teacher Iruka. I'll be teaching your general lessons, overseeing your spars, and helping you to understand what being a ninja is really like. Today we'll just have some matches to see how you're developing, and if enough of you want to, we'll even have a tournament. Afterwards, I heard that we'll get to see an exhibition match between A and one of our students. These scars will go until I judge one person as the clear winner. And remember, no ninjutsu or jinjutsu are allowed, only taijutsu. First matchup is Shino Aburam versus Shoji Akimichi. The two clan children reluctantly moved to the sparring ring. Begin. Neither fighter moved for over a minute. You can begin anytime. Anytime. Shino looked up from the ground. There are bugs on the ground and it would be disadvantageous to the ecosystem to thoughtlessly kill them. I will not move until they have cleared. Toji fidgeted, I don't really want to hurt anyone. Iruka sighed, never mind then. Next is Sakura Haruno, RL. 8769 strong center point versus Ino Yamanaka, RL 7096 true love. Begin. Before the fight could really begin, a girl from the crowd jeered that Ino can't lose when her opponent has such a huge forehead. Sakura broke down crying and ran to Naruto as if magnetically attracted. He caught her in a hug, rubbing her head and back while bleeding his chakra into her. Her sobs quickly faded to sniffles which soon faded to an awkward panting. Naruto handed Sakura off to Sasuke, not realizing the depth of change in this new world. Satsuki took the offered girl and using Uchiha superiority logic decided that Sakura was hers to train. So that's what he's after. What my dear Naruto really wants is to train the Hyuga to be his slave, just like that Yujito girl he already has. And since he's busy building the Hyuga up to be a suitable slave, he wants me to train this bubblegum hair for him. I won't be disappointed. I'll make this weak slave a great stress reliever and nursemaid. Ino, meanwhile, was watching the way that Naruto dealt with Sakura. He just comforted her without question or hesitation, then handed her off to someone he thought of as a romantic rival. Is that what true love is? I need to get in on this. Initiate operation. Blonde God Harem. Iruka rubbed his temples in exasperation. Next up is Shikamaru Nara versus. Too troublesome, I forfeit. Iruka threw up his hands. I give up, let's just skip to the exhibition match. Naruto Uzumaki versus Kakashi Haddock. Begin. Kakashi gave an eye smile as he stepped onto the field. You already know who your father is, beat me, and we can be brothers like we were supposed to be. But we do still have to fight, after all, these kids need to see how real ninja fight. After the customary bow they were off. Starting at speeds the academy students could barely see and only accelerating from there, the battle would have been an animator's dream. While the academy students could only see the craters that formed where they met, for the two combatants the battle was so fierce they couldn't look away from the other. Right kick. Leg flip. Backhand. No, feint. Back up. Uppercut. Abort, side dodge. And so on. Naruto jumped back to make a spiraling sphere. Kakashi was right behind and landed a high kick before Naruto could finish. Damn. I've spent so long training in turn-based glitch zones that I've lost my battle sense. Looks like first blood is yours, Kakashi. Now, why don't we test a jutsu in my style? He created a dozen shadow clones and then the battle began again. Kakashi was forced onto the defensive even with the use of his Sharingan. His little brother's attacks were actually complex traps worthy of Nara. The full-on attack from the front was a distraction for the sneaky strike from behind. When he dodged above it was revealed that the clone in front was actually a springboard for the second clone. However, that was only to move him to an awkward position in the air where a clone from the ground could throw kunai. However, when one kunai was caught it was revealed to actually be another clone that caught him in a bear hug to constrict his movement. Then the other thrown kunai were revealed to be clones as well that used their position to rain down axe kicks on the falling jonin. Satsuki was practically drooling at the display of might from her man and she wasn't alone. Once news had gotten around that a new kid equal to class had been cancelled due to sudden massive student absences. The 12-year-old Hana Inyazuka instantly declared him her alpha, getting a wary glance from Satsuki. Tenten was bursting with anticipation to find out how to make kunai transform into copies of her. Well, you certainly seem like a level into jutsu. Now, how well do you do with ninjutsu? Kakashi called from the ground, revealing that he had used substitution to escape the kicks but failed to escape the hugging clone that held a kunai to his neck. I think I know the perfect display. I finished my father's work. He proceeded to validate his claim by making a sage mode spiraling shuriken. What's with this kid? His taijutsu is 10 times better than it should be at this age and he's much stronger. Then he somehow recreated and completed senseis without any instruction. Unless you perverted genius. You've been teaching him, haven't you? Impressive, Naruto. You're already surpassing your father. I'm sure Jiraiya was impressed when you showed him. I actually haven't met the old toad yet. Could you get the old man to send a message for me when you give your report? I realize he's busy, but I would like to have some time with my godfather. I'll let him know. About everything. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.